Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Sistas. This is Season 7, Episode 5. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. You can also share this review and also leave your comments below. I'm going to get right into this. We started with Zach and Karen. Zach was asking Karen about getting a paternity test. And basically Karen's like, what are you talking about? This is your child. And Zach's like, well, how do we really know? Well, Aaron was proven not to be, so it has to be your child. And then Zach said, well, we do want to find out just to make sure. Then Fatima's like, Karen was like, well, we? Who is we? Fatima got you doing all this. And basically, you guys are just calling me a slut. I only been with 2 people. Then Zach gets all petty, starts talking about, well, in college, you were prone to do this and that. Zach, you shouldn't even go on there. But basically, she says no to a test. And basically, you can't be in my child's life. No. Then Trey, the delivery guy, he shows up, just asking, is everything all good? Zach's asking, is this your man? Then all of a sudden, Miss Lisa shows up and escorts Zach out. And after the dust clears, and it's just Karen and Pam, just say, you are tripping. Don't try to exclude Zach out of your life. You know? And all of this is just like, Karen's like, whatever. So, in the next scene, we got Maurice. He's at the bar. He's supposed to be meeting some guy he met offline. This guy who says that he's really into him. He's cute, but you don't know how cute. He can take a cute picture, but is he really cute in real life? So in order to meet him, the dude has to pay him. And that goes for anyone. The guy shows up, and the guy, he's pretty fine. So, of course, it took Maurice's breath away about it. But, of course, since this is the first meetup, he's going to put on the precursor of, I don't know about you, and I got my guard up. So this guy, his name is Grayson, in a gray shirt. And Maurice reminded him, this isn't free, meeting up. He said, I don't mind, I'm going to pay. I'll pay for our first date. He's like, first date? Yeah, I want to get to know you, blah, blah, blah. So then Grayson starts talking about himself. He's been in Atlanta for 8 months now. He's a day trader, which I believe that has to deal with stocks. And also he was in a 8-month relationship, just got out of that. And then Maurice was like, did you break up with him or you broke up with him? And he said, neither. He had cancer and he died. He said that he stood by this man's side. He said, that's nice. Then Grayson was trying to ask him questions and he said, no, this is for a 5th date type of question. He said, okay, I can't wait to get to know you or ask this question in 5 dates. He's quite confident. Brother was fine though. If I didn't say it before. Next thing you know, we're back at the shop again. And guess who shows up? Danny. But she's all drunk. And she's running off at the mouth. She's talking about she's in was it now? Yeah, in therapy and all this good stuff. And congratulating Karen, I'm gonna be a good auntie, And then basically Karen just kind of stopped her and said, no, this is not the time, blah, 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 blah. Back at home, Zach tells Fatima what was up. And basically she just feels like I'm calling her a slut. And Fatima's like, well, kind of, sort of, I guess. But Lord, if you had another partner, in this day and time, I think it should be okay. I do understand there's always double standards with women. And just act like you're loose or whatever. No. At this point, let's stop all that garbage. Whatever happened, happened. Get tested. Find out who the father is, for real. Fatima says, until she's willing to take this test, she's not getting a dime out of us. After that, Fatima suggests, once we get Michael, he's going to need therapy. And Zach said, yeah, so he definitely will. It kind of made him proud that Fatima was willing to do this and getting involved like that. He ended up giving her a kiss, and us Zatima fans were very excited for it. Next thing you know, it's the next day. Fatima goes to the office. Andy's talking with Jordan first, and he's asking her out on a date, and she says yes. Fatima shows up, and then you can see that Andy's getting really smitten with this dude, and they just talk about it for a few minutes. Andy asks, what was this about what Zach did at Karen's? And Fatima's like, what? What are you talking about? Well, Danny told me he caused the scene, da-da-da-da-da. And Fatima said, no, that's not how it happened, da-da-da-da. It was just, he told her that he wanted a paternity test. Andy said, I think it was an appropriate time and inappropriate place for Zach to be doing that. Probably. He could have asked her. He could have went by her place, possibly, and asked her. I don't know. Or actually asked to meet up someplace, But anyways, Andy was like, it's not the time for Zach to get caught up in anything, any violence or anything to that nature. So they talked about the delivery guy. And Andy's like, what? What, a delivery guy? I don't know. Apparently, he's probably her boyfriend or something. I don't know. They're dating or something. Fatima says that she thinks that Hayden is up to something. He came out of Jones' office with these files. In just a few minutes, Andy ends up seeing Hayden getting all chummy with one of the board directors or board members. Gary and his assistant. I think his name is Austin, but I don't know for sure. Gary is listening to all of this good press that Jordan is getting, and he's getting pissed off. So dude comes in and basically says, I need you to run this story ASAP. So while they're talking, it's like, you got to hold on. The cop I know is going to do it, but it's going to take a little bit of time. But then Gary said, no, we got to get a move on it. Come with me. So he leaves. And Penelope showing up. I'll get to Penelope in just a minute. So Danny goes to therapy. Danny has finally chose therapy. They get into some of the past relationships. She was been choosing the wrong men. She mentioned Preston at first. She feels like I liked him more than I ever thought that I should. But we were from different points. He's white from a racist family, and I'm a black girl from Detroit. I don't know if Danny chose the wrong person, but who knows? The reason I'm not counting Preston out right now, because we don't know what the future holds. Maybe Danny needs to go through some more men in order to appreciate Preston. If Preston is willing to actually, I guess, take her back. I think he would, but hey, who knows? So, what was I going to say? Yeah, so then she talks about, I think the other guy, was his name Jordan or something, whoever? The guy that attacked her. She talks a little bit about that, and the therapist asked, have there been other abusive relationships she's been in? And she said yes. In college, she dated the star player. His name is Rusty. Basically, he judged her for everything: her clothes, her makeup, her look, her hair, and he ended up choking her. She talked about a time where he choked her and was calling her a slut for whatever she had on. It was a bad situation. When she said it, she kind of was like, I almost forgot about that one. So obviously she had put it out of her mind and probably was never going to talk about it again. Of course, we're in the first steps of this relationship, or this therapy. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot to be uncovered. All right. So Sabrina visits her boyfriend. I think his name is Paul, but maybe not Paul. But I'm going to call him Paul today. Y'all can correct me in the comments. He's very excited because he's about to branch out and build another location. And he says if that one goes okay, then he's got like a third and fourth place that he'll have his place at. While he's explaining the designs and showing all that stuff, Sabrina sees this lady with the baby. And obviously that's a reminder that that's something that she wants. And she ends up telling the boyfriend, I decided that I'm going to freeze my eggs. Then he says, oh, yeah, you should do that. I mean, if we don't work out, you should always have that option. And then all of a sudden, the mood changes. And he says, well, we're at the busiest time, and I'll just talk to you later. I said, Sabrina, you're wasting time. He don't want it. I wouldn't beg for it either. Karen and Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa comes by the salon, and she writes a check and gives it to Karen. And Miss Lisa said, what are your plans moving forward? And Karen said, well, the shop is picking up. We got new clients. And then Miss Lisa said, what if it doesn't pick up? And then she encourages her to go on and take the test so that Zach can be with you. Be with you, but be there for you and the baby, you know? Of course, she's got all these defenses up, and Miss Lisa says, don't cut your nose off just to save your face. Then Karen says, I'll think about it. All right, so after Miss Lisa leaves, Trey comes in and talks a little bit about Zach and saying, you know, it looks like he really want to be in his baby's life. And Karen said, what are you talking about? I mean, nobody is that passionate about doing that. It would be my same reaction. He's not trying to get into business, but he gave his opinion about something. So it's up to Karen on what she wants to do at this point. He asked her out to lunch because that was his last stop before lunch, and she accepts. Penelope, again, comes by to see Gary. Gary's not there. She ends up snooping in the office as Gary's coming in. She sees a warrant, and she's trying to figure out what is that all about. But anyway, she shuts the drawer, and Gary comes in, asking, very stunned, like, what are you doing here? She said, I came to give you lunch, da-da-da-da-da. Then he asks for the assistant to leave, and he asks, what were you doing in that drawer? And then at least she covered pretty well and ended up saying, you know, I thought the restaurant had a utensil, so I was looking in there, and then she was grabbing the drawer, and he said, no. So basically, you know, she was asking him, you know, where were you? And he said, why are you interested in my business? He was quite cold and edgy and crazy. And then he says, I'm not hungry. And then she says, okay, I'll see you later. Then she leaves. Then his assistant comes back in after he calls him in. Basically, he needs this stuff done ASAP on Jordan, and that's just that. My wife's being annoying, as she can be. Danny sees Tony, and basically, then Tony's asking, you know, how the session go. She said it's okay. And basically, she does everything as an excuse to not talk with him. He's like, do you want to talk about it? Like, no. Do you still want to go out to lunch? No. What about later? No, I'm fine. No. Of course, everything is not roses when you are now unpacking stuff and emotions that you did bury. I think that Danny is processing what she's reliving. And you got to give her time. Later on, you know, they talk again, and Danny says, you know, there was something from my past that was uncovered. I don't want you to think I'm shutting you out. I'm just trying to deal or handle what was just actually presented to me. And Tony says, I understand. Just don't shut me out. I want to be there for you. He asks again, and then she still shuts him down. By the end of the conversation, she ends up saying, she gets up and leaves, and then says, yes, you can come over tonight. So I'm glad that she left the door open for him. At the office, Fatima tells Andy, Jordan's opponent, whoever, Bassett, has been caught up in a scandal. A girl that he had been caught with was one of his interns, and she started interning at 16 for her, and they had been having years of sexual relationship. Basically, Fatima says, you know, I know you want to see the best in Jordan, but look for the red flags. You never know what's up. And we'll see what happens there. Andy says thank you, and we'll just go from there. Hayden calls Gary and says, you know, he heard Fatima and Andy talking about Jordan a little bit ago. Are you going to try to pin something on him? And all Gary says is that it's been handled. Obviously, dude is Hayden is in the. Gary was, what was he doing? Gary was saying everything's handled. So, and then they hang up from each other. Gary's got a packet of Coke with him. So later on, was there something? Oh, Sabrina, the girl that's trying to also get the branch position that Sabrina wants. She's saying that she was looking over this report that Sabrina did, and it looks like that she has a 1.5 million mistake on this report. And she said, no. She looks at it and says, no, look at it again. No, they have a 1.5 million profit. And of course, there's egg on the girl's face and all this good stuff. And she apologizes and goes away. Maurice calls her and tells her that he wants her to come by. She's got something for him and all this good stuff. And he said, and then Sabrina tells him about what that girl did. He said, you better watch out. She's trying to end you. So he said, make sure you get that girl up out of there so I can get my job back. Let's see. All right, so Zach and Fatima. Zach is going over the paperwork, so he makes sure that he's prepared for tomorrow with Michael. And Fatima says, Andy said, don't be stressing out. And he says, I missed out on time. I don't want to miss any time with both of my children. Fatima's getting a little annoyed. She said, well, one of them, you still got to figure out if you're the daddy. And then Zach was like, you had to bring that up right now. You had to bring that up. Then she said, I'll go make some dinner then. Just a way to soften the blow right now. So Andy and Jordan, they go out to dinner. They're being all lovey-dovey. Then Andy brings up the Bassett scandal. She says, looks like all politicians seem to fall into this trap. And Jordan said, not all politicians are like that. Like, I'm not perfect or anything. Andy, no, you're not perfect. Da-da-da-da-da. But Andy said, I just don't want any scandals. And Jordan says, no scandals. So after dinner, they're leaving the restaurant. Gary's sitting outside, and he's watching them getting very fussy-like. So then, as he's watching them, he ends up pulling out the coke and sniffing it. It's quite interesting, and I wonder what is going to happen with this whole Gary situation, because he's quite unhinged, and this coke is not helping him at all. But tell me what you think below. I, again, appreciate you for coming to my channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next video, peace.